Hello everybody and welcome back to another Hersey Dispatch Game Day broadcast. My name is Quinton Bursch and today I'm joined by Ryan Antonucci. We are in the Goins Stadium for the quarterfinals of the state playoffs. Ryan, how about you lead us into this game?
Yeah, we got Hersey versus St. Rita tonight. Excellent matchup. Two teams who are lower ranked this year. Hersey, number 16 in the 7A playoffs. St. Rita, number 25. We have an excellent matchup here between Catholic or private and public schools tonight. St. Rita, all boys school, traveling north to take on the Huskies. And the Huskies are rolling. They've won their 9th straight game last week against against Richards. They're 9-2 going into this one. We got a great matchup ahead of us. And we also got the battle of the BJs tonight.
Absolutely. Brandon Jenkins versus Brandon Johnson. Both running backs, both starters. How explosive are they going to be tonight?
I mean, both running backs are going to be unbelievable. Brandon Jenkins, huge rushes last week. He got the Huskies going right away with a 75-yard rush. Didn't get in the end zone for the touchdown. We also got Brandon Johnson, who's a very strong running back for the St. Rita squad. And so, also watch out for Walter Jones, receiver for St. Rita, and obviously quarterback Steve Armbruster. So tons of key players to watch tonight. All right, we're taking you on over the field. We're going to be underway in a couple minutes.
Ryan, how do you expect Jake Narrott to play? Obviously, the pressure's got to lead up. First season as a varsity quarterback. He threw his first interception in the first game of the playoffs, and he has yet to throw another one so far in this playoff run. How hard, how difficult do you think this game is going to be for him to keep his head in the play?
Yeah, coming out to this game, watching both these teams warmed up, a lot of nerves, right? You're deep in the playoffs for the Huskies. You haven't made this game in 47 years or something like that. And if you're St. Rita, you've been here often. St. Rita is the favorite going into this game. And if you're the Huskies, I feel like though Narrott as a junior quarterback, right, gonna be a little nervous, but also you're not expected to win this game. The pressure's kind of off. So you're the underdogs. You're coming from behind, and I think that's just gonna feed into this Hersey momentum.
Ruiz up to kick. What can Ruiz do here? We saw him warming up, absolutely booting the ball. Highest we've ever seen on this field. Ruiz. In the backfield is Walton and Cohen. This one looks like it's going to go towards Walton, but it's going to be a touchback. Looks like there's a flag on the play. Offsides on the kicking team, I think.
So St. Rita's going to back up here. I do want to mention you see Oliver Cohen in the backfield to return the kick. He's taken Peyton Schultz's spot, who's typically out there. Peyton Schultz, an arm injury last game against Richards. He's in a sling on the sideline.
Well, can Ruiz get a touchback here? Now at his own 35-yard line, going to have to absolutely boot this one. 65 yards to the end zone. Walton Cohen backing up.
Huskies had a couple strong returns last week against Richards. Let's see if they can keep up that trend.
Ruiz. Ruiz sends it back left. That's going to be Walton. Walton's going to let it go down, and it was a touchback. Wow, what a boot from Ruiz.
Yeah, Ruiz kicked the game-winning field goal last week against Lincoln Way Central. St. Rita was in a back-and-forth game against Lincoln Way Central. Came down to the wire, and with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, this St. Rita team drove down the field, and Ruiz kicked the game-winning field goal, making them win 31-28. The Huskies would have lost. They would have been on the road this week against Lincoln Way Central. So, huge win there for St. Rita. Tons of momentum boosting them into this game.
What can Narrott and the Husky offense do here? Will it be a battle of the BJs? Narrott is going to hand it off straight to Jenkins. Jenkins finds a gap towards the outside. He's going to gain a couple yards. Jenkins breaks a tackle and runs out of bounds.
A good run to start there by Jenkins. Jenkins looking very strong down the stretch here this Hersey season, and he's really carrying this Hersey team.
Jenkins broke the record, I believe, in the first playoff game for most rushing yards in a career
for the season. Last week he added 281 yards onto that initial record. Huge game, 281 yards on 21 carries, averaging 13 yards per carry.
Walton in motion. Narrott's going to take the snap, hand it off to Jenkins. They both trip on each other. It's unfortunate for the Huskies.
Yeah, I mean, that he had a gap too, Jenkins, right there, but just a little stumble right there.
Yeah, Narod and Jenkins, I don't know what happened. They got too close on that handoff, but their feet just touched, and they both fell over there. But Huskies now look like it's 3rd and 7.
So a couple lost there. Let's see what happens here.
Narod. He's going to fake the handoff. He's got room to the outside. He finds Wilder. Can Wilder get it? Wilder moving to the outside. It's going to be close.
I believe he's picked up the first down there. Excellent catch and run by Wilder. They love to throw Wilder on the out route there. And, clean reception. Nobody around him is able to run for a couple more and pick up that first down. And way to put his elbow down.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know if he was going to get the first down there, and he does.
Yeah, I think he was already over at that point, but in case he wasn't, just excellent to continue that pickup.
Walton in motion yet again. He's going to line up at the slot. Looks like it's an audible. Nara changing the play. Hands it off to Jenkins. Jenkins looking to the outside. He finds a gap. Jenkins towards the outside. He breaks a tackle and gets pulled down at the 45-yard line.
An excellent run there by Brandon Jenkins. Once again finding the routes, cutting to the outside. You had some downfield blocking there by Austin Schultz. And the Huskies, they're midfield down.
Huskies at their own 45-yard. A 15-yard pickup from Brandon Jenkins. Narat's got 4 receivers to look for. It's going to be pressure from Rita. Narat's going to throw it away. Almost intercepted, though. I don't know how I felt about that little throw off.
Yeah, if you're Narat, you're under pressure right there. You just got to get that one out of bounds and away from any defensive receivers or defensive threats. And fortunately for the Huskies, nothing right there that constitutes a turnover. But how about that Rita defensive line? Pretty big D line.
There.
Haven't seen on at least the first couple plays of the game them be much of an impact, but right there forcing Narat to make a decision.
When you take your tight end off the line to become a 4th receiver, you always got to think about that blitz, and Wilder drops a ball down the middle.
Yeah, a little over Wilder's head, but he's got that frame. He's able to leap up and grab those, and just off the fingertips right there. Sometimes when you're a receiver, you're more worried about where the defenders are versus getting that ball in your hand. He had a defender right behind him. It would have been a pretty hard hit, but just off the fingertips there, it's going to set up 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10 for Narod and company. He's got Walton lined up in the slot. Riggs in motion. Narod snaps the ball. He's going to fake the handoff. Narod looking to Walton. Walton gets swarmed immediately for a pickup of 2.
Yeah, this secondary for St. Rita has looked very strong. Being able to get off of blocks, get those tackles. I want a player that I want to look out for here on the St. Rita defense. We have Owen Lynch, the linebacker here for St. Rita. This is his 3rd year as a starter. He's number 1, so watch out for number 1 in the middle of the field. Coach
Tom Nelson keeping Narod on the field, looking for an opportunity to get the first down here. Faking the handoff, rolling out to his right. Never mind, he's staying in pocket. He's got pressure, and he gets tripped for a sack. Rita gets the turnover on downs.
The early aggression right there by Nelson elects not to punt the ball. And the Huskies take a sack. Not what you were looking for, given Rita excellent position with such a powerful offense. I think looking back at this game,
I thought Narod got away there.
I thought he got away too, but maybe we'll be looking back at that one. We're going to say Huskies are going to want to punt that one there, but have the ball at midfield, elect to go for it on 3rd and long, and are unable to get it.
Wow, what are we going to see Ambruster do here, leading his company of the St. Rita Mustangs? Mustangs get the ball there. He's going to send it outside to number 3, Smith. Smith is going to get swarmed immediately for a pickup of 2.
Yeah, wait for Jenkins to get that awareness to move downfield, crossfield, and get that tackle right there. I mean, Smith had tons of room to the outside. It kind of reminded me of that Wilder play that we saw early on, but Jenkins able to get right on him, cut down his time and space, and get that tackle.
Ambruster. Is it going to be a run play here? It is. 23 through the inside. That's Brandon Johnson. We talked about him at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, Jenkins is more of an outside guy, right? He's going to try to find those outside edges, pick up those big yardage. But you're looking at this Johnson running back here, Brandon Johnson, and he's just a right up the middle, power through your D-line. And you saw it right there, just that powerful run, huge pickup, but this sets up 3rd and short.
It's going to be another run play to Johnson. Johnson is not going to get it.
Huge play right there by the Hersey D-line. What a tackle. Luke Casey coming on the edge there for the tackle. Unable to let Johnson go anywhere on that carry, and I thought he had room to the outside, but St. Rita going to keep their offense out there for 4th down.
Looks like Ambruster's going to try once again. Can the Huskies get a stop? It looks like they're going to jump. That's Tillman Mulder on the jump.
Tillman Mulder jumps off sides. Huge mistake right there by this Husky defense. That's going to give St. Rita the 1st down. Again, just you had him right there, right? You had him, and a mistake's going to move this ball downfield. Now, I don't know the range of this St. Rita kicker, but we're potentially looking at field goal range.
What can the Huskies do here to stop them? Ambruster. Looks like it's going to be a timeout by St. Rita.
All right, it's 0-0, 8:08 in this first quarter. We're pretty early on in this one. Q-Tip, what have you seen that you've liked so far?
You know, I know Tom Nelson doesn't like to punt it, but I feel like a punt there wouldn't have been horrible.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to a player profile right now. We have Bernard Harbor.
Hello, my name is Bernard R. Harbor. I'm a defensive tackle. My number is 99, and this is my 2nd year in varsity. My goal is to win a state championship with my team. My favorite cereal would probably be Fruit Loops. Come on, if I was a Madden player, it would be 99 overall. And my best rating would be probably.
If you guys are real fans, you'll remember us running this, 5 games ago?
I believe it was week 1 where we ran it.
It was definitely not week 1.
Or was it
I think it was like week 3.
Week 3, yeah. Well, we did run a player profiles, but we're going to run them back.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Take advantage
Everybody,
of that timeout
we actually got
space.
good feedback from that,
Yes.
so people seem to like those. Ambruster is going to turn to his outside. That's Smith. Smith makes a juke, and he gets tackled at about the 25-yard line.
Yeah, I believe there was a Hersey defender, maybe it was Brandon Jenkins or Shaden Georgakis to the outside, who saw that play, read that play, but got tripped up.
I think it was Ryan Sather.
It was Ryan Sather. Yeah, he got tripped up. That would have been a loss of yardage if he didn't come down, but good pick up there by the St.
Ryan
Rita
Sather
offense.
read that perfectly. They got tripped up by one of the Rita's players. Ambruster. In motion is Smith. He's going to look back to the inside. That's Johnson. Johnson's going to gain a couple yards and get swarmed by the Huskies. Excuse me, in motion there was Jones, not Smith.
Armbruster going to be, Johnson going to be brought down at the 20-yard line. They're going to mark him short. So this is going to be a 3rd and short. But again, just up the middle, powerful run, just fighting for those extra yards. It's going to take numerous Huskies to bring him down.
Armbruster. He's got 2 receivers on the outsides and a running back behind him. It looks like he's going to take it himself and gain the 1st down.
A little tush push there. You know, I haven't seen a lot of teams run that against the Huskies, but you see Armbruster take that one himself, pick up the 1st down. They don't even have to worry about Casey or Sather coming around the outside and making a big tackle.
Armbruster. Armbruster takes it himself down the middle. He's going to get swarmed for a gain of 4.
Yeah, you see that D-line just got sucked to, I believe that's number 7.
Evans.
Yeah, Donovan Evans. And they believe that was going to be a jet sweep right there, but excellent fake there by Armbruster, keeping it himself, taking it up the middle, able to pick up 5 yards on that one. 4 yards on that one.
Armbruster. Evans on one side, Jones on the other. He's got Johnson behind him, and he gives it to Johnson. Johnson's going to gain a couple yards, break a few tackles, eventually getting pushed back at about the 7-yard line.
Yeah, right now for the Husky defense, you got to figure out how you're going to stop Brandon Johnson right here. just take it up the middle every time, hammering this Hersey defense. It's going to be a gain of 4, though, so it's going to set up 3rd and 1.
Ambruster. Ambruster's going to take it himself yet again. Looks like they're going to call it a first down. And it is.
Yeah.
Moving the sticks, it's going to be 1st and goal for the St. Rita Mustangs.
Yeah, just that tush push right there, right? It keeps going, keeps nailing this Husky defense. Hand off to Johnson. Johnson spins into the end zone for a St. Rita touchdown.
My fault. I got blinded by the light here when you opened that door, and I did not see what was going on.
Yeah, Brandon Johnson there with a 7-yard pickup gets into the end zone. And St. Rita has their band here. I didn't even notice. I hear some music playing, a fight song playing, and I look over. But Brandon Johnson finishes off this drive with an excellent rush, gets into the end zone, and St. Rita.
This might be the first time we've ever seen an opposing band come out.
I know, it's actually pretty impressive. Shout out St. Rita band. I love high school bands. Really add to the fever.
Will Ruiz put it through the uprights. Ruiz. Ball is going to be snapped. Ruiz straight through, and that ball is skied.
Ruiz's kick is good. He's been rock solid for this St. Rita team. We were watching him in the warm-ups, as you said before. It has looked very strong. I want to highlight this St. Rita team. They're a lower seed. They're number 25. They had a deep state playoff run last year. They play in the all-difficult CCL ESCC Green, the Catholic League. And they have some huge losses to teams like Brother Rice and Mount Carmel. We hit on this in the pregame show. We are actually going to post our pregame show to our YouTube page, so if you want to go ahead and watch that, check us out on YouTube. But anyway, they've had some of these, and they've lost by quite a margin to these teams. So it's kind of safe to say they haven't really been tested. Or they have been tested, but they haven't won those games where they have been tested.
One other thing I want to point out that I think we forgot to mention at the beginning of the game, another reason Cohen is in right now, Tyler Wenting, our best receiver, is actually injured with a leg injury. It looks like he's got a full brace on, some sort of knee. Can't tell from here, but that's brutal for the Huskies.
People were like, after they won the Richards game, we were going to him, are you coming back for this next week? But he was just shaking his head.
Ruiz. Walton's going to let it go behind him. That ball is absolutely bombed.
Yeah, just unreturnable there for Walton. And, the Huskies got to expect they're going to be starting from their 20 pretty much every drive here.
Would you ever want to implement the 35-yard line rule, how the NFL does?
No, I think it's just stupid. I feel like we've talked about this before on our broadcasts. I think the purpose of it's to make more returns, right? But I don't know. I don't like it.
I mean, Devin Hester was doing it without that rule. Narot, Walton and company. He's going to fake the handoff to both of them, send him out to Wilder. Wilder's got room to go. Wow, absolutely destroys one guy on
big
that.
Hit right there. But Wilder able to pick up that yardage. Wilder has been a favorite target here for Brandon Jenkins.
For Jake Narot.
For Jake Narot. Almost every week you see him going to him, on the season, 28 receptions.
Yeah, he's the third receiving leader, even though he is a tight end. I guess that's how it is on a lot of teams.
And Narot uses him more than we saw him use Logan Farrell, when it was Colton Gamino.
Well, Logan Farrell was injured last season.
Yeah, it wasn't, but my sophomore year.
Yes. Narot gives it to Jenkins. Jenkins finds a gap through the middle.
I'm really impressed by Brandon Jenkins' rushing performance so far today. Just able to find those gaps, able to find those holes, and really move through the St. Rita defense. But just shy of the first down marker, it's going to set up 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1 for the Huskies. What is going to be play called by Nelson? Narot is going to keep Wilder on the line. Walton in motion is going to line up as a slot. Narot checking his plays. Calling an audible. Narot with an audible. Narot takes a snap, hands it off to Jenkins. Jenkins finds a gap and gets the first down and more. Jenkins only one man to beat. He almost gets swarmed, and he fumbles. Jenkins picks the ball back up himself, it looks like.
No, St. Rita says they have it.
No way.
They aren't showing who has the ball. We're all waiting for the ref's decision here.
I thought Jenkins jumped on it.
Yeah, I thought it squirted just out from underneath him when he jumped on that ball initially. And an excellent run there by Jenkins, staying on his feet. They're going to say it's Husky ball.
There we go.
So the St. Rita section was going crazy. We were all thought that this one was going the other way, but Brandon Jenkins able to recover his own fumble after a brief discussion by the refs.
You know, I don't know if you saw a little touch there, but I like how confident Jenkins stays. He takes off both his arm sleeves. You know, maybe that's the problem. It looks like he's going to keep himself in the game. He knows he can pick this up, and he knows he can do better. A little bit of nerves, but he takes off both the arm sleeves.
And
what do you think of that?
What's weird about that fumble was not that he didn't get didn't get punched out. He just dropped the ball. It seemed to go off his knee. But able to jump on that. Excellent.
And they're going to give it straight back to Jenkins. Jenkins looks to the outside. He's going to get tackled for about a gain of 3.
You know, ball security has not been a problem for the Huskies. They haven't lost a single fumble. Well, last game they did. Now I'm going to check on the season. But I don't think they fumbled once this season. Not that I remember, at least.
Narot did have 2 fumbles before the playoffs.
Yes, they have. They've had 5 fumbles. My apologies. But I do remember the Warren game week 1, but it's been a while since they've had a fumble. They actually forced 3 fumbles last game against Richards.
They forced 4 fumbles, recovered 3 of them. Nara looking deep, can Casey make the catch? And he does!
Touchdown Huskies!
Casey in for a great touchdown, coming in place of Tyler Wenting. Luke Casey putting great work on the field there.
Nara just finds Casey downfield. I love to see it, that Tom Nelson special going downfield. Typically you see it with Wentick or Riggs, but right there they throw it to Casey. Casey not getting into the end zone that often, but you see it there, take it in for Wentick's spot.
Uh-oh, though. Jenkins does come off the field, going to the medical tent. Something wrong in his stomach or abdomen area. It's not looking good for Jenkins. Can Jack Mao put it up through the uprights? Jack Mao's been great on the season.
He has had a couple misses, though, as of late, but...
Jack Mao. Almost blocked, but I believe it's straight through. It is.
A little off to the right there, but goes through the uprights. Jack Mao continues to be strong for this Husky offense. So we have a tie game, 7-7, 2:49 remaining in this first quarter. We've seen both teams offensively, Q-Tip. What do you like the most?
I mean, I honestly really like the way the Huskies look there, but that fumble, there's nothing you could do about that. And Jenkins coming off the field, I'm a little bit worried. You know, are we going to see any other players come in? Because like you said, we've got Tyler Wentink is already injured. Peyton Schultz is already injured. If Jenkins gets injured, this could be really effective to the game. It could change a lot.
Yeah, I think that Jenkins, maybe it was off the fumble, right in the abdomen. It's maybe where he landed on the ball, and of course you're getting piled on by like all the people going for that fumble as well. So
we just gotta hope he's okay. It looks like he's come out of the tent, but his helmet is off.
Yeah, well, he's breathing heavy over there on the sideline. I wonder, drinking some water. I wonder if he's just like
the wind knocked out of him
or something. Maybe on that last hit, on that last tackle. So
Foster looking to boot here. He's also been really good on the kickoffs this season. Oh, the ball falls off the mount from the wind.
Good awareness there by Foster to not kick that ball.
Yeah, I feel like I would have tried to kick it. It just.
Well, the reason why you take your time sometimes before you kick it is because you make sure it's not going to fall off the tee. But if you would have kicked that, I think it would have counted as a live ball.
Absolutely. Looks like Austin Schultz is going to come in and hold it as well as it being on the tee. So they've practiced for this. Uh-oh, it's going to be bad. It looks like it hit Austin Schultz's finger a little bit. And Jack Foster wondering what else he could do there.
Yeah, I know Foster talked to me pregame. He said he was going to try to kick a lot of returnable balls against the St. Rita team, like we saw last week against Richards. If you haven't seen that game, Foster's kicking all the balls to the 20, allowing them to return.
I don't think it's a terrible idea, especially the way we saw this Rita's team warming up. It didn't look like their kickoff returns were going to be anything spectacular.
Yeah, but right there, I don't know if that was as much of him trying to kick a returnable ball as much as just
I think it's just
faulty
weird
hold
with the hold
yeah.
and the wind and a lot going through his mind right there.
Yeah, but I do want to mention wind. It's very windy out right now. I believe the wind's blowing to the east right now, and Huskies haven't played many windy games. It's not as windy as we saw against Batavia a couple years ago, but wind can play a factor down the stretch here.
Ambruster. Ambruster's going to look to Johnson. No, yes, he is. Johnson's going to carry it. Johnson able to gain a couple yards after the touch. Yards after contact, excuse me.
Yeah, Johnson keeping his head down, powering through. Camp Scannaboo-like, if you want to say.
Big Giants fan here, eh?
I am a big Giants fan. I'm actually glad I went to the Giants-Bears game last week.
Yeah?
That was very rough. Very glad they fired our coach after the game, so I've been much more happier as of late.
Ambruster. Ambruster. He's going to look to Jones. Jones is going to get the snag. Jones towards the outside. Jones has room to go. Only one man to beat, and it's Jenkins. And he jukes Jenkins. Jones. Wow, what a tackle there. I can't even tell who that is. What an ankle snag from Chaden Georgakakis, I believe. No, that's Ryan Hefke.
Ryan Hefke, yeah, he's on the line, too. I mean, he's not a D lineman, but he's an edge rusher, and that effort right there, wow. But Walter Jones, that's his first reception of the game, and I mentioned it earlier. He is the star of this team, and you know, you haven't seen Armbruster go through the air a lot, but when he does, he'll find this Walter Jones kid. You know, he had an 86-yard touchdown return off a kickoff last game, so he's going to be the favorite target today for Armbruster. Expect to see a lot more of him.
Armbruster is going to give it to Johnson. Johnson's going to look for a gap. He makes a spin move to the outside, and he's going to get swarmed by the Huskies. First contact there was Zell Walton.
Excellent tackle there by Zell Walton. You know, Johnson was really getting to the outside there, but Walton goes for the legs and stands him up, and then he couldn't really pick up much more yardage off of that. And then obviously the Hersey defenders getting in there.
I still can't believe how good of a tackle that was from Ryan Hefke. Armbruster. Armbruster, he's going to toss it to Smith. Smith looking to the outside, but there are Huskies there. Smith, does he get in? Smith in for a touchdown.
Wow, Smith just powering through this Hersey defense and getting to the outside on that little screen pass outside. And, you know, Huskies, you got to find a way to stop this offense right now. I think Hersey's offense has looked very strong so far today, but it's limiting what they can do right now on St. Rita's offense. And you haven't seen Armbruster throw a lot other than that one to Walter Jones, but
and still that was just a shovel pass that Walter Jones really made the play of. Ruiz back to kick again. Ruiz. That one almost looked wide, but the refs are going to say that's through the uprights.
That one almost went out to the basin. That one almost cleared the fence and went out to the parking lot. Excellent kick there by Ruiz.
Huskies, 53.4 seconds left in the first quarter. They've got the second quarter to work with. What can they make happen before this first half?
You do want to keep in mind that the Huskies did have first possession, so as we wind down to halftime, you don't want to be losing, right? If you're down by a possession and St. Rita has the ball to start off the half, I would just love to see the Huskies with a stop here. And I think I'm gonna look back on that Tillman Mulder jump off sides on that 4th and 1. That could be a game-changing play here. You know, going off what we've seen so far with St. Rita and this run offense, we mentioned early on in the season that run defense has been a problem. As the ball blows off the tee once again. Yeah, it's windy out here.
Rita bringing someone in to hold the ball. Are they going to have the same mistake that the Huskies did?
Anyway, as I was saying, we said the run defense has looked much better this year, as this year's progressed, but you know that is still probably this weakness here for this Hersey defense, even though it has looked better, and St. Rita's going to try to highlight that tonight.
Ruiz. Ruiz is going to have a short kick. Walton's going to have an opportunity to return it. He's going to look towards his right side. Can he find a gap? He can. He gets through, and Walton's still on his feet.
Excellent second effort there by Zell Walton. You know, he has not really been the one to return for the Huskies. I feel like we've only seen him a couple times return. I'll get the stats on this in a second.
As we're saying, with Wentink out of the game and Schultz out of the game, both of our starting returners are not in the backfield. So Walton and Cohen really doing a great job, able to make plays happen here for the Huskies.
Yeah, I don't have the return yardage as a stat on here for any of the players, but you don't see him return much, but breaking tackles, he's a smaller guy too. I don't no idea about height, weight, anything about that, but you got to imagine he's an easier person to maybe take down, but he's shifty. He's able to get around that St. Rita special team.
That injury did not seem to be a problem to Jenkins. He's going to stay on the field and get the ball immediately. Jenkins looking for a gap. He looks like he gets a few yards after contact.
Yeah, tackle there by number 90, Braden Medrano. And as I've been watching Jenkins rush these past two times, you know, this Medrano, he raised that arm. He tried to strip that ball, force that fumble. And because Jenkins fumbled that one time, you know, you got a lot of these St. Rita players going for the ball, not really going for the tackle. And so, you know,
Jenkins able to get extra yards.
Ball security is going to be a highlight here that we're going to need to watch here down the stretch. But going for the ball, not going for the tackle, that, as you said, helps Jenkins grab those extra yards.
Huskies are just going to end the quarter here with 2nd and 4.
Now your Huskies down 14-7.
Going into the second quarter here, as Ryan said, Huskies down 14-7. It is their ball, but they are in their own territory. What do you think the Huskies need to do here to get to the other side of the field and get a touchdown?
Yeah, obviously their offense has looked strong. They haven't really, actually, they've done everything. They've gone deep passes, short passes. Rushing has looked very strong. I'm very confident in how this Hersey offense has been looking, but I think, you know, they say the best offense is a good defense. And to get some stops here down the stretch in this game as St. Rita's offense picks up more momentum and this Hersey defense gets a little more tired, I think that's going to be the key to see how Hersey's defense responds.
I think the Hersey's defense, I don't know if they're going to take offense to this, but I feel like it's kind of like paper mache. Like they have a bunch of scraps and they need to put them together. You know, like we saw that Ryan Hefke tackle on the ankle, but then you also had the Tillman Mulder jump off sides. And I feel like if we could clean it up a little, put everything together to make it all happen, I feel like we're going to have a really good defense.
Yeah, we're going to cut back to the field now, but I do have something to continue on that, so we're going to cut back real quick. So as I was going to say, Richards, when they played Richards last week, that is the best I've seen this Hersey defense look, though they did give up 21 points and they gave up a late touchdown. But
Narot. It's going to look to the outside. That's Wilder. Wilder's got room to move. Wilder steps out of bounds, but he gains the first.
Yeah, but as I was saying, the defense did look really strong. As you said, 3 or 4 forced fumbles. And I think we've expected that to continue into this one. And also that Walter Payton game. I know you weren't there with us, Q-Tip, but that was another defensively strong game. So 1st and 10, ball on the 43.
Narot and company lined up at the right dash. That's Jenkins. Jenkins looking to the outside, gets a spin move. Gain of about 3 yards.
Julian Smith there with the tackle. You know, I want to highlight that Jenkins run right there. I don't think that St. Rita defense knew he had the ball.
No, it looked like he had a gap to the outside.
He had a gap to the outside,
but
that hesitation right there. I don't know if that was designed. I don't know, but I think
he was waiting for his blockers to give him a gap. I don't think it was intended to go outside.
Yeah, I think if he would have just exploded off that run right away, he would have picked up a couple more yards there. But nevertheless, a gain of 5 on 1st down.
Narot sends Casey in motion. He gets the pressure. That's almost a face mask. How is that not a face mask? He throws it away to Walton, missing the pass.
Was thrown
there we go, the late
Not
flag.
sure who this flag is on. You'd expect it to be a face mask or a roughing the passer, but we're going to see here.
Did you see that too? It looked like he totally grabbed the face mask.
I thought Narot was done. I thought he was going to be taken down, but the ref's convening here. We're going to see what the call is.
I mean, surely they saw that. There was a ref right there.
Narot is very shifty. Despite, if you look at him, you wouldn't expect it. You know, I'm going to bring up another New York Giants reference here. But Jackson Dart. So it's going to be on Rita. I believe it's going to be a 5-yard penalty there on St. Rita, but Huskies going to pick up the first down. Not sure what the call was.
I don't know what the call was.
Well,
I
was
didn't say.
Talking to you, but
and I didn't see what it didn't look like. The ref even motioned
I don't think he
anything.
motioned,
He just said penalty.
But no, I was saying he kind of looks like Jackson Dart out there, moving around those sacks and that shiftiness, and I think he has a pretty similar.
Kind of like Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Jake Narot audibling. Narot hands it off to Jenkins. Jenkins is going to look to a gap on his right side. He finds one and he goes for more yards after contact.
Yeah, you just love to see it from Brandon Jenkins right there. Just his explosiveness, right as soon as he gets the ball off that handoff and taking it to the outside. I mean, I'm so impressed by his performance today. He's got to have been putting up 100 yards at least so far, and
I mean, he broke the career rushing yards at Hersey, and this season Jake Narot breaks the single season yards by a quarterback for passing.
Yeah, he has 20 rushing touchdowns this year. So impressive.
Narot almost gets the pass to Casey, looking for a flag. They're not going to call it.
Yeah, excellent coverage by the St. Rita secondary. I believe on that coverage was number 43, Jack Schweppendonk. That is a really weird name. He's a sophomore. Excellent coverage right there on Luke Casey. That's the second pass that you've seen just gone off that right hand, those right fingertips.
But that's kind of where you want to place the ball.
That is where you want to place it. It's just good coverage. Not even to get that other hand.
Narot. Wow, jumping off sides there is number 8, John Fennell. Is that number 8? Did I see that right?
Yeah, number 8, yeah.
Because he's listed as a quarterback on our roster.
Quarterback, defensive back.
Yeah, but still, you're never going to have a DB line up in the linebacker. Whatever.
Might be a backup quarterback. But I loved after the play, Brandon Jenkins right there doing the little arm signals, pointing for the first down. I don't know the history between these two teams, but it's a little chippy out there.
Narot. He's going to hand it off to Jenkins. Jenkins is going to look for another gap, and he finds it. Jenkins almost breaking a tackle, but what a tackle there from number 4, Andrew Elwood.
Andrew Elwood, the senior defensive backup running back. And gain of 15 there by Jenkins. Again, just those short gains, those big gains. He didn't get into the end zone, but you moved the change. You set up excellent field positions. And a timeout's going to be taken here by St. Rita.
Second of the night for St. Rita. You know what? Not only did he get the 15 yards and nothing bad happened, he also didn't fumble there. That's
I was worried about that. He
had the breakaway and he didn't fumble. We're going to throw up another player profile here. It's Peyton Schultz.
My name is Peyton Schultz. I play DB. This is my first year on varsity and I'm number 11. Our goal for the season is to win a state championship. My favorite cereal is Lucky Charms. I would be a 97 overall, and my best attribute would be man at coverage.
There we go from Peyton Schultz. Schultz injured right now. He's got a sling. He is on the sidelines, though, standing right next to Wenting. Can we get a close-up on them? On Wenting and Schultz?
Now, we got a couple more of those player profiles coming to you
Wenting and Schultz?
Real soon, so we hope you enjoy those. Those are made by Q-Tip, so shout out Q-Tip. Are we going to have some for basketball season?
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying to get as much of those out as we can. It's just hard. Oh, there we go, Wenting and Schultz. Look at them on the sideline supporting the boys. I mean, you love to see it out here. Hopefully they're going to recover, be A-okay, and now we can get back to the field.
Yeah, after football season, we'll be doing our basketball broadcast. quick preview of those. We'll release our broadcast schedule in these next couple of weeks here, and we have a huge announcement coming for you guys later on. You'll hear about that in January. So we're so excited for this, but we're gonna keep it under wraps for now.
Narot, Walton in motion. Narot with the clap. He's gonna hand it off to Jenkins. Jenkins finds a gap this time. He does with a spin move. Wow, Brandon Jenkins.
Brandon Jenkins have a field day. Just excellent performance here. Moving the ball downfield, you just keep handing it off to him. It's not making a difference. He's just turning up the turf here, picking up those big yardage, and an excellent run there by Brandon Jenkins. And this Husky offense still rolling. They're in the red zone. Yo, Q-Tip, we have our rally towels up here. I need to bring these back out. I said I wanted to use them, but
Narot handing it off to Jenkins again. Jenkins is going to run to the outside. Does he have room? He gets pressured. All he needs is the first down. Does he get it? Looks like the sticks don't move. Gain of 0.
And no gain on that one. On second and short, I'm surprised they didn't try to look to the end zone on a pass there, right? But Jenkins, tremendous speed around the outside. And he just, I thought he was going to be brought down, but he just powers through, keeps going, chugs to the outside, and, an excellent tackle there by the St. Rita defense. The St. Rita defense is looking very impressive, but I just think that this Husky offense right now is unstoppable.
Looks like it's going to be, whoa.
It's going to be offsetting penalties on both teams on that last play. I believe we had 2 holds, so ball's going to stay exactly where it is, but it's going to be a repeat second down, so that's going to
that does help
the Huskies. And if I'm Coach Nelson, I think I'm looking to pass here on second and short.
I think you've got Wilder turning to the outside. It's going to be a little pass to Jackson Wilder, the tight end. Okay, never mind. It looks like Wilder's going up to block. He could roll off, I suppose. Narot hands it off to Jenkins. Jenkins gets the first down and more. Jenkins into the end zone for a touchdown.
Touchdown Huskies. Brandon Jenkins, powerful run up the middle. 11-yard run, breaking tackles left and right into the end zone. We love to see it. This Hersey team just on fire right now on offense. Can they pick it up on defense? That's going to be the big question as we close off this one.
Mao. Jack Mao. Jack Mao with a great kick. That one also skied up high. 14-14 tied game here in the second quarter. 10 minutes left on the clock. What can Rita do?
This is why that kid's going D1, right? This is just that ability to perform in the playoffs. Excellent season, excellent senior year by Brandon Jenkins. It looks like he got
injured there, and then he comes right back on the next play, taking a one-play break.
90% of the plays that this Hersey offense has run has been through Jenkins, whether it was a dump-off pass or a rushing play. So huge, so huge. Tie game at 9:38 remaining. It is a beautiful day today. Beautiful fall day. It was in the 30s earlier this week. It's now in the mid-60s. There's no place I'd rather be right now. It's excellent weather out here.
And then they're bringing Jack Mao onto the kickoff here. Maybe they didn't like Foster's kick, but I don't think that's entirely Foster's fault, with the wind, and then he had to bring in a special hold. Maybe they want to return here, too. Maybe they think Foster's got the bigger leg. Maybe Jack Mao's going to keep it inside. You never know. Tom Nelson making the decisions for the Huskies. Jack Mao for the kick. Wow, a short kick from Mao.
Not what you want to see here by this Hersey special teams. They've been rock solid all year today, and maybe the wind could have affected that one. The wind's kind of blowing north here, but those are just mistakes that are avoidable, and now you're starting St. Rita up 15, 20 more yards than they would have originally been.
Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to do there, because Jack Mao even aimed that way, almost like a sky kick, but it didn't go high enough.
I do want to fault the returner there too. The returner ran. He ran.
Yeah, he gained
laterally.
0 yards.
He should have ran upfield.
That was Seamus O'Leary, the junior defensive back. But he was never expecting to get that ball.
Coach Kuhn talking to both Mao and Foster on the sideline, throwing his arms up. He seems to be in a little displeasure right there.
20 on the run this time. That's Damon Sutton.
Damon Sutton Jr. listed as a wide receiver. He's a senior on the St. Rita team, and excellent cut to the outside there. I'm surprised they took the ball away from Brandon Johnson. Maybe he should need a quick breath. He is not on the field though, so trying to look to see if he's injured or something, but he looked totally fine after he got into the end zone for a touchdown.
Arm buster.
To his right now, Langston Smith, wide receiver and defensive back.
In motion is Damon. Armbuster's gonna fake the toss. He's looking deep. He's got Jones. Jones makes the catch. Can Casey catch up? Jones in for the touchdown. Only his second reception of the night.
Wow, it's just Walter Jones wide open deep. As soon as the ball snapped, you look up and you see Jones 30 yards downfield, but there is a flag at the back of the play.
It looked like it was on the Huskies.
It is.
So
it
it's
just
not
got
gonna
picked
matter.
up. So Coach Martin Hopkins of St. Rita running out to the field just to verify that that call was on the Huskies, and it was. So a deep pass. Right. We haven't seen this Hersey defense since Barrington give up many of those deep passes. But
I don't think they've gone against a team that has gone for those deep passes.
Prospect had a couple. Remember that huge, what was it, third down play?
Looks like there was a something against Rita as well.
Well, they are not moving this ball back, so touchdown will stand. Maybe as something after the play, but
it looks like they're going to do it onto the kickoff.
Or maybe on the extra point. Let's see.
Because they're taking the extra point at the normal spot, I believe. Ruiz.
Yeah, we're a little confused up here, but looks like touchdown will stand and extra point will be kicked from the same spot.
Ruiz. A low kick, and it's good.
Now Ryan Sater got through that special teams line there for St. Rita and almost blocked that kick, but he just tripped over defensive lineman. But 21-14, 8:35 left in the second quarter. That's a lot of points scored, right? A lot of points scored so far in this one. Both teams looking very strong offensively, and I think, Huskies now down by a point, or down by a possession, you want to say, and I think you can link that back to not converting there on that fourth down and not taking that punt.
Well, that and getting stopped on the very first drive of the play. And then not stopping on the fourth down.
Yeah. I'm going to try to give you guys a quick score update here from some games you might care about.
So the kick is not getting moved back. I really don't know what happened.
It got moved up. Kick got moved up.
Okay, so I guess it was on the Huskies.
Yeah.
Should be an easy touchback for Ruiz, especially from what we've seen so far this game. Ruiz, a low kick, but still makes it to the end zone.
A line drive kick there by Ruiz, going to roll through the back of the end zone. All right, we have some scores here for you. In Class 6A, Fenwick, who beat Rolling Meadows last week, beat Burlington Central 49-21. Nazareth Academy came down 21-9 against Lake Zurich, and they picked up a win, beating Lake Zurich 24-21. No score right now in Batavia Glenbard North. I'll double check that. It says that Downers Grove North has beaten Lincoln Way West 28-10. So, did any of us pick Downers Grove North?
I don't think so.
I think
we both had Lincoln Way West.
I'll double check my sheet here. I'm gonna verify this too. Sometimes these aren't always correct. There's a loaded nighttime slot for you guys tonight. If you guys want to, after our game, want to flip over to Barrington and versus Lockport. And
Narot's going to hand it off to Walton. Walton making a move towards the outside, but he's going to get taken down for no gain.
Interesting to see them run the ball with Walton, especially with how strong Jenkins has looked. Trying to check to see where Jenkins is on the field. So
yeah, they handed it to Walton while he was in motion. I think that they were really trying to predict the Rita defense, trying to follow Jenkins and throw him off, but didn't work out too well for the Husky offense.
Also, a game to watch from Class 8A. Oswego High School beat Maine South. Maine South, a very strong team this year. We haven't heard much about Oswego, so it's an interesting score there.
Narot looking deep. He's got nobody. He shovels it to Jenkins. Jenkins finds a gap and more. Jenkins down to the outside. Can he beat 3 defenders to beat? Only Smith. Can he beat Smith? Smith for the tackle.
What a huge pickup there by Brandon Jenkins. Oh, my God. Through the air, on the ground, Brandon Jenkins single-handedly tearing up this St. Rita offense. This is what you need. St. Rita, tons of momentum those past couple plays. 2 big plays to Walter Jones, but, St. Rita has Walter Jones. We have Brandon Jenkins, and Brandon Jenkins is having an afternoon so far today.
Jenkins coming off the field. It looks like Chaden Georgakakis is in at the running back position. They want Jenkins for a breather. And we've seen how good Chaden is at pushing through the inside gaps. The A gap is his favorite there. Georgakakis, can he make it happen? Straight through. Oh, no. He gets pushed back.
A gain of 3 there. Forward progress stopped. It's interesting. I feel like we haven't seen, other than that deep pass, and Jenkins and Narot's deep pass, Armbruster and Narot have not been passing a lot.
I don't know. I think Narot had a couple good passes. We saw the one drop by Wilder.
I feel like we haven't seen him look over the middle of the field.
I think the safeties from both teams have been on point, except for when it's obviously blown by on those Tom Nelson
defensive
balls.
Backs, yeah.
Narot, he's got room to look now. He throws it into the end zone, just over the head of Walton.
Yeah.
Oh no! Rita's players on the ground. Owen Lynch, we talked about him before the game. Owen Lynch getting right back up. He's looking okay.
I was a little confused. I hadn't seen an injured player on the field. Narot was a little slow to get up, and I got worried he took a hit after that one, but he's back on his feet looking towards the sideline. All good there from Narot. Yeah, that pass, though, just a little overthrown there for Walton, but again, excellent coverage by the backs here on this.
The secondary for Rita is doing very good. They just need to close the gaps, but they've had man coverage on lock. It's going to be handed off to Jenkins. Jenkins finds a gap and almost gets the first. Does he?
I believe they're going to mark him just short by about a yard, but Jenkins once again just picking up that yardage, and it's going to set up 3rd and short.
I know you like those touchdown passes, but this one you just got to run it through the inside for a gain of 1. You only need the first down, then you've got 4 more downs to get a touchdown with only 5 yards.
Yeah, I agree. They're on 3rd and short. That's got to be the move. Just run it up the middle. And, Jenkins has been looking real good, but you see him looking over at the sideline, slapping his face mask. He wants this ball.
Narot's got Jenkins behind him. He's got Schultz and Casey. Narot takes it himself. Narot gets the first down.
But for Narot to stay on his feet and just continue to power, didn't really, and excellent blocking there by the O-line. The O-line not letting those defensive linemen from St. Rita get through and make that tackle. So Huskies on the 3-yard line in the red zone and terrorizing here. The St. Rita defense, you see they're all holding their hands to their hips. They're gassed. They've just been chasing Jenkins downfield, and it just...
Narot, he's going to give it to Jenkins. Jenkins! Wow, stopped. I really thought he was into the end zone there. Great tackle.
He had
from
all
Rita
that forward
defense.
momentum right there to get into the end zone and just absolutely stood up. I don't even think he was stood up. I think he was just an excellent tackle by that defensive lineman on the St. Rita team. So he's unable to pick up that first down. Or touchdown,
Second and goal for Narot. Narot He's got Drew Frank as an option now. He's got Brandon Jenkins. He's got Luke Casey. He's got Austin Schultz. Narod is going to hand it off to Jenkins. Jenkins almost gets tackled immediately, but he's going to be in for a touchdown.
Once again, Brandon Jenkins powering up the middle, breaking tackles. And your Huskies tie it up once again, 21 points in this first half. This offense explosive. It just keeps coming down to the defense. Can the defense get a stop?
You know, if we get a stop here, it would be very, very, very much of a momentum change for the Huskies. Especially considering we did not get the stop earlier in the game, and we gave away the ball of a turnover on down. So Huskies, even though we started with the ball, are now trailing. Well, not trailing because we're tied, but trailing in terms of score by score. Mao. Jack Mao, straight through the uprights. I like your prediction, how you said that you thought a lot of people were going to be coming towards the second quarter, because our student section now seems to be filled.
Well, it's just one section. You still got the band is taking up that other section down there. But yeah, no, tremendous showing here for this Hersey fan. You know, this is the most people I've seen at a Hersey game in a long time. You got overflow parking onto the softball fields over there. And even the St. Rita side, too, absolutely packed. I see a couple St. Rita students over there, too, so excellent environment for some
I
Saturday
feel like
afternoon
it's kind of different for a private school, you know. They don't get every single sport that we do. They get to choose and pick what sports they want. There's no of that rule, what is it, the H9 or something, Title 9.
Yeah.
And they don't have that at private schools. So I think, you know, having one good football team or one good basketball team really brings a private school together.
And I also want to mention, and it's not really as relevant, but private school kids can come from all over the place. You know, I know a couple people who go to St. Viator who drive 45 minutes from Crystal Lake. So for all you know, a lot of these St. Rita kids, I'm not saying that they're necessarily around here, but from areas that aren't as far as like if they lived right around St. Rita's campus.
They're giving Mao a second chance. What can he do? Mao with another high kick, seems to be in the same exact spot, and the ball's going to bounce. Huskies swarm it.
Excellent play right there by the secondary. You know, maybe that is the strategy.
Maybe that's the play.
We have to stop. You know, we're going to stop talking about. We don't know much of. That's Coach Kuhn's specialty. But you know, the high kicks, keep it away from Walter Jones and those dangerous returners. Instead, give it to those weaker receptor people. I don't know what you want to call them. Defensive player.
Because, you know, like Zell Walton had a farther return than that, and that guy got the ball at the 20-yard line.
I was watching them return kicks in the warm-up, and Walter Jones very solid with how he returned those balls. But everybody else was going through the hands, and, you know, just a huge play there by this Hersey special teams. And excellent field position for this Hersey defense.
Armbuster. He's going to toss it to Evans, I believe. Evans looking to the outside. Evans staying on his feet.
It's going to be short of the first down. There is a flag on the play. And it's going to be an illegal shift against St. Rita, so this play is coming right back.
So I believe that's because he motioned behind the quarterback while the running back moved forward. I think you have to kind of set your feet before you can move, if that makes sense.
I'm not very.
It's about the feet on that one.
I don't know much about the illegal shift, but you know, I have a book in my room about like, I think it's about like it's a guide for football for like wives who like don't actually watch football. And in there was a page where it had all the like referee like signals, and so when I was like 5, you know, I was like playing with my toys, you know.
I believe it's when you kind of start the play before you snap the ball, almost like offsides, but nobody starts moving like that. It's like when multiple players motion at the same time, almost tackled. Armbuster's going to look to Jones again. Jones with another deep ball. Can the Husky defense get him? Wow.
Jenkins just going to let him go. I don't know who got in on Armbuster there, but had him gobbled up for the sack, and excellent awareness there by Armbuster looking deep for Jones, and I believe that was Brandon Jenkins who just let him walk into the end zone, didn't even decide to go for the tackle there. Maybe
I feel like it's always, you want to tackle him, but maybe it's a time thing. Maybe
yeah,
the
I
Huskies
think, you know,
want
there's
another
4
touchdown.
minutes left here in the second quarter. Huskies assuming that they're going to put together a long drive, but again, just these deep balls, this And this Hersey secondary is playing very up. They're not playing back. They're not playing that protect defense. And
we're playing like tight zone and really need to play.
Tight zones, up zones, and Walter Jones, he is so fast. You cannot let him get space. You cannot let him go deep because you will not catch him.
I feel like all of their receivers were past our secondary there, not just Jones. Ruiz with another kick, and it's going to go straight through the uprights.
Extra point by Saul. Ruiz is good. Makes the score series.
Yeah, I think you had a lot of what happened there. You had a lot of players in that Hersey secondary who got their eyes caught on Armbruster, who I thought was going to take the ball himself. He had tons of field in front of him, and so they immediately got sucked in towards him, let Jones get deep, and completes the pass. So this Hersey defense has been a weak point so far. 4:09 left in this second quarter, in this first half. And if you're the Huskies, you want to score here. You want to waste time so St. Rita does not get the ball back. So it's a tie game, and then St. Rita starts off with possession.
I was not worried about the Husky pass defense coming into the game. I thought it was going to be a run defense that was our problem.
Yes.
And Jones already has 2 touchdowns and an 80-yard gain that wasn't a touchdown.
And it's not reassuring since Johnson has looked very strong rushing too. We get average about like 5 yards per carry so far. And I mean, if the pass game falls apart for the St. Rita team, which is very possible, they can still fall on that run game. But, I think I jinxed it. I said that Armbruster and all right, we haven't seen much from them. We've actually seen a lot from Armbruster.
Ruiz with another deep kick. That one is going to be returned. Walton picks up the ball, and he's got room to move. He's got blockers. Walton's going to keep going. He's going to get tackled about the 40-yard line. Wow, 40 yards from Zell Walton.
Excellent return there by Zell Walton, and he's untouchable. He's just shifty, in and out, and gets to the 40, setting up the Huskies with excellent field positions. And I was watching Jenkins as he just got off the bench there, heading off to the field. You could tell he's gassed, right? I mentioned it earlier in the season, depth for this Hersey team, and they've lost 2 of their deeper depth players with Peyton Schultz and Tyler Wentick. And Jenkins is kind of asked to do everything here, rushing the ball, those tackles, and now on defense. And this Hersey team's pretty gassed, and so is the St. Rita team too.
I don't know. I really like the way Luke Casey and Zell Walton have been playing on offense as well, though. Josh Riggs, we haven't seen much from this game. No, it's going to fake the pass.
He's got time, but
he finds Jenkins on the outside. Jenkins, he's got room to go. 60 yards, 1 man to beat, and Jenkins beats him.
Oh my God, what are we watching right now? Back and forth, deep plays. I mean, what awareness there by Jake Norrod just to find Jenkins on a play that completely fell apart. He had time, his time collapsed. Jenkins hit, hey, I'm wide open, come find me. Finds Jenkins down the field. I mean, I have never seen 2 offenses this explosive. It's like defense is not even playing today. Defense didn't show up for either side.
I genuinely don't know how Jenkins did get tackled. He had 60 yards to run, and there was nobody there. He had number 4, Andrew Elwood, to beat, and he absolutely smoked him. Jack Mao up to kick yet again.
I mean,
Brady Claire, the holder. Jack Mao. And it's good.
Yeah, and Mao's kicks right now, golden. And these are important to watch as we get down the stretch. Who was it? It was college football game yesterday, Clemson versus Louisville. Louisville misses an extra point, and they lost the game by a point. Obviously, we've seen Hersey in their 2-point conversions against Prospect, and they have not been impressive. And I think we fail to realize how important Mao and these extra points are as we go down the stretch, and what's going to be a very back-and-forth tight game. But because the Huskies scored quick, 3:47 left, St. Rita has plenty of time to get downfield, and if they score late in this one, they will get the ball to start off the second half, and they can go up by 2 possessions here. So Huskies need a stop is the moral of the story right now.
What do you think is going to happen here on the kick? Do you think it's going to be another sky ball? I believe there's a word for it. I just remember it's like a scrum or a spit. It's something with an S.
I thought that's like a rugby terminology.
No, there's a word for a really high short kick like that. I just don't know why I'm blanking on it.
I thought it was like a sky kick or something, but
yeah, but that'd be a deep high one is a sky kick. The midfield high ones, there's a word for it, and I'm totally blanking.
So now coming out back out to kick this one. And I mean, if you look at the points scored so far, 28 for both teams. And St. Rita's last 3 games, they scored 31, 30, and 38. I mean, they're gonna hit their what they average in just a half. And same for Hersey.
Mao is going a little bit deeper this time. It's going to be picked up by Evans. Evans got room to run towards the outside, but he goes towards the middle. I don't think that was the strategy.
Yeah, you see 6 and 7 back there to return. I did not do that on purpose. I apologize. But 6 and 7 back there to return. And they kick it towards Evans' side. That's because you're trying to keep it away from Jones' side, because Jones is a very dangerous returner. He's one of the top returners in the state. And we've seen so far one of the top receivers as well.
I mean, he's got competition now. We've seen Zell Walton returns. One thing I've noticed, Josh Riggs has not showed up on offense yet. I wonder, maybe it's just like a slight injury this game, but he's all suited up. He's got his helmet on, and he's been the second receiver for the team this season, but he has not showed up once this time on the offensive side of the ball for the Huskies. Armbruster. He's going to toss it off to Smith. Smith has room to go towards the outside. Smith is going to get tackled by Parker Flaherty.
Another flag thrown in after the play, after the snap came off, and this is pretty similar to what we saw before. It's going to be on St. Rita.
So what happens there is the running back was moving forwards on his first step, and then you see the receiver coming in and motioning behind the quarterback, which is kind of like changing the running back.
It's a weird play. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of teams run that style of offense or run that type of motion. A lot of teams motion, but in front of the quarterback.
The problem is that the running back starts running forward before the motion.
Yeah, it's just that miscommunication
finishes.
right there. And I was going to say about Walter Jones. Walter Jones is not committed anywhere from the St. Rita team, but he did have interest from Western Illinois and Toledo. So this is a D1 talent right there.
Armbruster's got 17 yards to go for a first down. He's got 3 receivers lined up on his left, 1 lined up on his right. And he's going to fake it. It's going to be a run down the middle. Wow! What speed from Damon!
You just got to take him down right there. Stays on his feet, breaks 2 tackles, and just that little, like, I don't know how to describe it. That jump back, shift right, doing it all on the field, and picks up that lost yardage from that penalty, making it 2nd and 4.
2nd and 4 for Armbruster. He's got Damon Sutton lined up next to him and 4 receivers. 1 in motion behind him. This one's not going to get called. They did it good this time. Smith, I believe. No, that was Evans.
Evans with that same motion play again. You know, I'm surprised that they keep doing that because I don't think it's that successful. They did pick up the first down. They did pick up a solid 7 yards on that one. But I think there's a lot of risk with the penalties right there, and Hersey seems to read it with Walton and Cohen on the outside.
Armbruster. Armbruster handing it off to Johnson. Johnson's going to gain a couple yards and more.
And it's just a really good run there by Johnson. They faked the sweep to Jones, and no Hersey defenders got sucked with them. They all knew that this ball was going to Johnson, yet they were just unable to deliver right there.
That's just good O-line movement from Rita.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big O-line.
St. Rita's got 2 minutes left in this half to make anything happen. It's going to be another handoff down the middle. Oh no, Damon Sutton.
Damon Sutton just trips over his own feet. Tackle there is going to be credited to Oliver Cohen.
Armbruster, I think he's going to look deep here. No, he doesn't. They give it back to Sutton. Sutton's got room. He makes a move towards the outside. Oliver Cohen gets a good tackle.
You've got to stop the run here. You've got to stop it. And, you know, they're using Damon now. They were using Johnson before. Damon's shifty. He's short, shifty back here. Kind of reminds me of Zell Walton, honestly, when I watch him.
Wow, a great tackle there. Sutton just got tackled immediately.
Yeah, tackle right there by LaMonica.
And he still
right there.
gained 5.
Johnny
It looked like he
LaMonica,
got tackled so quick.
sophomore defensive lineman there with the tackle. We've said his name a couple times this year. He's pretty explosive there off the D-line.
Armbuster. Armbuster. He's going to throw it to number 19 on the outside. We haven't seen him all game long. That is Vinny Stubish.
Stupitish. That's a hard name. I don't blame you. Junior receiver. Stupitish. You just got to say it fast, I think.
It looks like the name is literally Stubish. I'm not going to lie.
All right, it's 3rd and short.
Armbuster. He's going to take it himself. Does he get it?
I believe they're going to give him the first down.
He does get the first down there.
Yeah, that tush push behind those huge O linemen, I don't know how to stop that. People have been talking for years about how to stop the tush push. Q-Tip, how would you stop the tush push?
Is it possible? Let's be honest.
Is it possible? I don't know. I feel like you have to dive under the center.
You have to predict it. The only way would be if you predict it. Armbuster's going to look to the end zone. He finds somebody on the outside. That's Smith. Does he get taken down? Smith does not get the touchdown.
At the yard.
Oliver Cohen on the tackle.
This is huge with 5.1 seconds left. That's a huge shot there again. I keep mentioning it. You do not want them to score here, and this brings up a huge second and goal.
They could just do another tush push.
They could just do another tush push, but you gotta hope they get a stop here, or else this, despite Hersey playing really strong offensively, they could be in some hot water going down by 2 possessions to start off this first half.
Yeah, it's a tie game right here. You really want to stop if you're the Huskies, and then you want to stop immediately off the kickoff again if you're the Huskies. This is going to be hard for the Huskies to hold in here, to grudge through, stay in the trenches.
I've never seen this before. This entire crowd is on their feet. Grandparents and everything, everybody, and for both sides, on their feet. A huge 2nd and 1.
I don't even know if you guys can hear us back there over all this crowd cheer.
It's
Never
a lot
heard
of
this
crowd
loud
noise
in my career. Armbuster. Gonna go for the tush push.
He didn't get in. We're gonna say it's a touchdown.
Touchdown for St. Rita.
I didn't think he got in because Armbuster, he didn't get his hand over that line. He kind of tucked the ball in and turned his back to the end zone, and typically when that happens, they mark him short, but able to get into the end zone there. So excellent job by St. Rita, wasting time getting down the field and scoring with a second left, and the Huskies want any chance of tying this up. It's going to come from a Zell Walton kick return.
Ruiz, straight through the uprights.
1.2 seconds left. We're about
It's going to have to
underway
be
with
Zell
that
Walton,
kickoff.
some backyard football.
Yeah, this is that same question. Do you kick it and play? Do you, what do you do? Do you kick it and play or waste time off the return?
You want to go for a touchback because the clock doesn't start.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, but do they want the clock to start with a Zell Walton return?
I guess they might.
Do you want the clock to start, or do you want them to be further, because their special teams hasn't looked great for St. Rita, but neither has their defense either. So you run the risk of a deep no route pass to Jenkins, who's wide open.
Or they kick it to Oliver Cohen. They see what he's made of, see what he can do.
All right, so we're about to get underway. Return team meeting with Coach Kuhn on the sideline, and what's the game plan going forward now? Your St. Rita gets the ball to start this second half, and just looking ahead, what do we need to do? I think you need a turnover, in my opinion.
Yeah, what did they call it in World War II? Trench warfare? I think that's what we're going to need here from the Huskies. They're going to be behind. It's going to be a mental game. It's going to be like poking your head out in the trenches, Ryan, and they need to push through. They need to be determined. The Huskies need to get a stop here in the second half if they want any chance. It's a sky ball. It's going to be to Walton. Walton's got tons of space, but he's got pressure already. Walton looking towards the outside. Can he get there? Walton's got space. One man to beat. Walton to the 50, stays on his feet. Best return of the night from Zell
Best
Walton.
return of the night for Walton, but it doesn't matter, as it would have been great if Hersey got field position with like a second left, but it doesn't matter, and Huskies going to be stopped. So 35-28 as we go into halftime.
Alrighty, guys, coming into halftime here, the Huskies are down 35-28. They're not going to get the ball back in the second half, as they're going to have to kick it to St. Rita. Ryan, what do you think the Huskies need to do here?
Well, I just want to give a quick shout out first, Brandon Jenkins and this Hersey offensive line. You know, offensive line typically underlooked, but this offensive line anchored by Division I commit Jack Nolan has done an excellent job opening up these gaps. And limiting pressure that has been on Narrat, though there's been a couple times where Narrat's had to escape. But I think going forward the second half, it's got to be defense. You've got to restrict these deep balls, these big rushes by Damian and Johnson over there for the two backs for the St. Rita team. So, you know, new half, defense has to regroup, and we're going to see what happens here come forth in the second half.
Alrighty, guys, coming back into halftime into the second half. The Mustangs are leading 35-28 against your Hersey Huskies. Ryan, what do you think the Huskies need to do coming into the second half, especially because they don't get the ball back?
Defense. It all starts with defense. We're about to encounter the biggest drive of this game. If the Huskies can restrict them from going up 2 scores, I mean, this is a huge drive that we're about to see here, and I'm not going to say that the game rests on this. We've seen the Huskies come back by greater than 2 scores before, but this is, especially since they've been unable to stop this very powerful St. Rita offense, this is a huge drive we're about to see here.
Absolutely. I think the Huskies really do have a chance here. We saw it in the Prospect game. They came back from three scores down, and they're only 1 score down right now. Could be 2 considering that the Mustangs get the ball going into the second half, but I think it's very possible and very doable for the Huskies.
All right, we're going to take you on over to the field. We'll get underway in a couple minutes here.
You know, before this, the second half starts, I just want to thank all the viewers, especially all the St. Rita viewers. I mean, we're really glad for having them tune in. They seem to be paying a lot of attention to us. Me and Ryan got some new favorite fans going on, and I think it's great to see everybody watching. And thanks to all the Husky viewers, thanks to my parents, thanks to everybody that's watching.
Yeah, we're really glad we had the opportunity to partner with NFHS for this game. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to broadcast. If you talked to me on Monday, it was a certain no, but thank you to the athletic directors, Mr. Hatfield and NFHS, for letting us work with you guys and have another broadcast here, and hopefully we'll see you guys at the state championship next time. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the goal. We just need to beat the Rita Mustangs here, and it's very doable. Jack Foster coming out to kick now. They're taking Mao away. I think they want the touchback. Their sky ball strategy wasn't working for them very well. Jack Foster. Foster with a good kick. It's not going to be a touchback. It's going to be recovered by Evans. Evans is going to look towards the outside. Evans got room to go. Evans past the 50. Jack Foster's the only man to beat, and he gets pushed out of bounds.
Again, Evans and Jones right there, one of the 2 best returners in the state, and just Evans gets all that room to the outside, picks up huge yardage, and special teams in those returns for both sides has made a huge impact. But, you know, a rough start here. This is a huge first drive, huge opening drive, and you're setting up with excellent field position.
Absolutely. Rita had a great return there. Can they keep it up? Armbruster. Armbruster leading the way. He's got Johnson behind him, 2 receivers on the outsides. Evans and Jones. Jones in motion. It's going to be handed off to Johnson. Johnson through the inside. He's not going to get tackled immediately. Gains about an extra yard.
Yeah, Luke Casey and Jaden Georgakakis, the 2 to reach Johnson off the run right there, but unable to bring him down. It takes a couple more Huskies to bring him down right there.
Armbruster. Jones in motion. It's going to be a handoff to Johnson. Johnson through the middle yet again. Johnson's got room to go.
Johnson's going to pick up the first down, be taken down at about the 18-yard line. Again, just another good rush there by Johnson. And these backs picking up about 5 yards per carry.
Armbuster. Jones in motion. Armbuster is going to hand it to Johnson for the 3rd time in a row. Johnson finds a gap and pushes through. Will he get the touchdown? No, he doesn't. Just short.
Yeah, Johnson just can't be brought down to his feet. He didn't even get brought down to his feet on that one. Forward progress stopped at about the 3-yard line, and early in this second half, I mentioned all important possession right here, and St. Rita real close to getting into the end zone here.
Johnson, they gave it to him yet again. He tries to truck through, but he gets stopped.
Good stop there by the Huskies. Ryan Sather up there to hold him up. And the goal line defense for the Huskies has looked very strong all season. And another example right here. A little bit of a hold up here. So we're about to get back underway here.
Armbruster. He's going to motion Evans. He gives Evans the ball. No, he doesn't. He takes it himself.
Yeah, Hersey defense bites in that perceived jet sweep over there to Evans, and Armbruster just takes up the middle himself.
I mean, even I thought Evans had it. That was a really good fake by Armbruster.
Yeah, you've seen that numerous times today to Jones and some of those other receivers here for St. Rita, and the Huskies now, they're way back now, down 2 scores.
Huskies down 2 scores to start off this second half. I mean, I guess not start off entirely, but 10 minutes left, down 2 scores at the beginning of the second half.
Again, I'll continue to state, the Huskies just need a stop defensively, and it's a whole new game at that point.
Ruiz is good.
You know, I feel like as I'm watching this game, despite a stronger offensive performance this game than the game against Prospect, but this is very similar to that game against Prospect that we saw. You know, this just unable to stop the St. Rita offense. But what did happen in that game is then after, I think it was the 5th score of the game, Prospect was unable to score. And you could see that here with St. Rita. Maybe St. Rita gets a little confidence, gets a little cocky. They think that they got this one. But I think a lot comes down to how this Hersey offense responds. It's not just the defense. It's if the offense can keep scoring and keep it a tight game.
Will Zell Walton have another 50-yard return? You know, it all depends. I think it's a big momentum game, a lot of momentum shifts, and a lot of it is going to come down, as you said, to the defense. Ruiz. Ruiz going to send this one really high. Is it a touchback? Yes, it's going to be in the end zone for Ruiz.
That's true. I thought there was a little backspin on that kick. I thought that was gonna be down real tight under the 10-yard line range, but in the end zone, touchback, and Huskies can start on the 20.
Jake Norrott leading the Huskies here. He's got Jenkins lined up behind him. Walton in the slot. He's got Casey and Schultz on the outside. Norrott's going to call an audible. Norrott. He's going to hand it off to Jenkins. Jenkins is going to look towards the inside. He does. He finds a gap. A spin move. Jenkins gaining extra yards, and it looks like it's a first down for Brandon
Another
Jenkins.
first down pick up there by Brandon Jenkins. You know, before the game, he posted on his Instagram story, I was just showing this to you, honorable mention with a period, and it's just a picture of him. He was an all-state honorable mention, and clearly he's playing with some fire. He believes he should have been on that first-team all-state roster with Jake Norrott, but instead just an honorable mention, and you know that hit him real hard for the game.
Jake Norrott. He's going to hand it off to Jenkins again. Jenkins is going to look towards the outside. He does have pressure, though. He gets taken down for a loss.
At 28, Jaden Blunt just coming all the way across the field there. He was originally in coverage in the middle of the field, but recognizes Jenkins cutting to the outside and is able to take away his time and space and make the tackle. And Blunt is a senior defensive back on the St. Rita roster. You know, talk about the St. Rita roster. They've had tons of state playoff success, and they were a pretty young team. Now those younger players in a senior role.
Narot, he's going to look deep, it looks like. No, he's not. He's going to take it himself. Narot makes a juke, and he's going to go for a slide. No, he doesn't. I thought he was going to slide there for sure. Narot gets the first out, and everybody is proud.
Zell Walton was wide open near the Hersey sideline, and Narot just did not see him. More worried about the pressure, but excellent play right there, recognizing how much space he has. Cuts to the middle of the field and be taken down at about the 44-yard line. .8:25 left in this third quarter.
He's going to hand it off to Jenkins. Jenkins gets pressured immediately and taken down by number 2, James Franklin III.
Yeah, Franklin immediately recognizes that rush to Jenkins, knew exactly where he was going with that ball, going to try to cut to the outside, go through that C gap, and immediately taken away right there.
You know, we have not seen too many through the air options so far this game for Narot. Will it happen here? Walton in motion. He's going to fake the handoff. Narot, he's going to look deep to Casey. Casey, wow, almost had a great catch, but gets hit extremely hard there.
Yeah, that pass just a little low there for Luke Casey. This is going to set up a 3rd and long now. And Jake Narot just, I feel like the offensive line I mentioned as we led into halftime looking very strong, and it's looked very strong on rushing plays with their Hersey's rush offense, but I think through the air, he almost got sacked right there again, and his pressure being taken away, and maybe that's why they're not really looking with Narot to go through the air, and they're keeping it on the ground, but you got to imagine they're going to go through the air here on 3rd and long, and if they don't convert, do they go for a 4th down by 2 scores?
I still don't know why Josh Riggs isn't in the game. I don't know what's going on here. Narot trying to take it himself, and he just gets swarmed by the Mustangs.
Yeah, play immediately collapses, pocket collapses, and Jake Narot just immediately taken down, and they're keeping the offense out there for now, and honestly, I don't blame this decision, right? 7:22 third quarter, you're down 2 scores, now they're going to send out the punt unit, so, and this Hersey crowd, not real happy about that. There are a couple of shouts towards Coach Nelson and the coaching staff. They're believing that they should have kept that ball and gone for it on 4th and long.
You know, why don't you think Josh Riggs is in the game here? I wonder what's going on.
Yeah, I haven't really been looking for him along the sideline.
He's been on the sideline, and he's been suited up the entire game, but he hasn't been playing.
A nice kick right there by Jack Mao. He's going to roll it bounce to about the 20-yard line. As I was saying, yeah, it's very interesting. Josh Riggs has been a favorite target for Jake Narot. He gets downfield real quickly, but I mean, maybe they just want to turn to their senior receivers right now with Luke Casey, who has experience. And
I know, but I'm saying, like, when you have your 2 strongest receivers out of the game, like, and Josh Riggs is suited up, why would you not put him in when we've got essentially 2 backups starting, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know the scouting report. I don't know for either side. Maybe St. Rita, I don't remember, was he in early on in the game? Maybe St. Rita was doing an excellent job covering him. And
no, Riggs has yet to play a snap this game.
Maybe they're just trying to hit him with, oh, well, here's Luke Casey.
Armbruster, Jones in motion. Armbruster's going to call the snap. He's going to take it to Johnson. Johnson's going to look to the outside. He's going to break a tackle. He's going to truck another guy, but ends up getting the tackle there. Is Oliver Cohen. We've seen like 4 excellent tackles from Oliver Cohen so far this game. He's been putting in great work on the defense.
Yeah, you know, that ball going to his side a lot. So Oliver Cohen, an excellent job there. You know, Johnson could have dove forward for a couple more yards, but Cohen stands him up and limits it to only a 3-yard rush.
He's going to give it to Johnson yet again. Johnson's going to look for a gap up the middle. He finds one, but doesn't gain too many yards off of it.
We're just going to set up another third and 2, 3rd and 3. It's going to set up 3rd and 2 here after a gain of 5 right there on that rush. And a little bit too far for that tush push that St. Rita loves to run. But, you know, again, when you have a receiver picking up 5 yards per carry, this is a huge stop here. And this Hersey crowd on their feet for this 3rd down.
Armbruster. Armbruster's going to look to his outside. He's got Evans deep, and Evans cannot get there.
Armbruster gets down to his knees. He knew that was way overthrown. Evans was open on that one. Another receiver who just had room to the outside. And it got real quiet in here. I wasn't sure if they threw a flag after the play, but excellent job right there by this Hersey defense. And, you know, I'm surprised that's the time where they turn through the air. You know, you've had so much success on the ground, picking up so many yards off each carry, and they decided to make a pass there with Armbruster, who hasn't really thrown the ball that much this game, and just way too overthrown as you're going to put out the punt unit. But finally here, a stop for the Huskies. They've been waiting for it. Unfortunately, you would have wished that they scored before this, so they'd be getting the ball here.
It looks like Dom Wentink in the backfield, stepping in for his older brother. Wentink almost dropping the ball.
Dom Wentink, a sophomore for this team, drops the ball, and almost a huge mistake, but is able to jump on the ball. And it's a little strange in such a huge game with 5:10 left in this third quarter, turning to some of your younger players.
That's what I'm wondering about Josh Riggs.
Yeah,
Maybe they're
there's
just trying
got to
to
be
get other
something
people
going on with
playing
Riggs
time.
right now.
I'm really confused why Riggs isn't in this game.
Yeah, he doesn't even take the field right now with this Husky offense. I mean, I'm not at practice. Maybe it's a discipline thing.
Narot trying to get them to jump off sides. They don't. Narot calls an audible. It looks like it's going to go to Jenkins again. Narot hands it off to Jenkins. Jenkins is going to look for a gap towards the inside, but he doesn't. Gets swarmed and absolutely slammed to the ground by the Mustangs. But the Huskies fire back with a little bit of a fight there.
Yeah, it's going to be an unnecessary roughness call on St. Rita. You cannot do that. Slams Brandon Jenkins to the ground, trying to make a statement right there. I'm not sure who that penalty was on.
Well, then it almost looked like misconduct from the Huskies right after, because they're pushing that guy to the ground after
Yeah, you know,
he does
you
slam
got to be
Jenkins.
careful about that discipline there. Let's see what they're going to call here.
I don't know. I think it's good teamwork from the Huskies. You know, if you see your teammate take to the ground like that, you got to step up for him.
All right, so the flag's just going to go on St. Rita. No flags on the Huskies for the after-play skirmish, and so this ball's going to move downfield a couple yards. It's going to set up first down once again. But, you know, you talk about the Riggs out, and I've noticed it so far. Now they're starting to read how Jenkins rushes the ball, right? They're starting to read his runs. And I think if you're a Hersey, you've got to find another way to attack the St. Rita defense.
Like you said, if it is a discipline thing, I understand discipline, but then I also understand going to the state championship.
Yeah, it gets to a point, like, yeah, it's just where your coach's morals are at, right? What's most important to your coach? Obviously, we're making pure assumptions.
Yeah,
right? We don't know anything. Maybe
it could
he's
be like a
concussed
toe injury.
Yeah, you know, got hurt in practice or something. But
and he's just suiting up in case they need another receiver. I have no clue what the call is there, but Narod, he's going to look to Jenkins. No, he's not. He almost slips. He looks to the back. It's going to be caught by Wilder, who goes to the ground immediately. I mean, that was just such a high ball. Narod's passes today, he's been so accurate throughout the season, 76% completion rate throughout the whole season. But this game, it just has not been his game through the air. Jenkins having a great game, but we want Narod to be a little bit more accurate.
Yeah,
not saying he's having a bad game.
Yeah, but, you know, Narod hasn't really... He might be a little cold. You know, last game, he didn't get the opportunity to throw the ball that much, though he did have 153 yards. Because Jenkins had such a strong game rushing.
Narod. He's going to shovel it to Walton. Walton drops the pass. He had two linemen in front of him for the screen. What is going on? Looks like a Rita's player.
There was a collision between a St. Rita player, and I believe that's Austin
Schultz and Smith.
Austin Schultz trying to draw a flag on that one, but unable to. And it's going to be third and 6. Yeah, Zell Walton, I think he's taken the rig spot.
That's what it looks like.
Zell Walton last week, he had 3 receptions for 52 yards.
And then you've got Casey coming in at the Wentink spot. Schultz, we've always seen out there kind of as the third receiver. Schultz lining up in the slot. Narot. He's got time. He fires it over the top to Jenkins. Jenkins with a one-handed catch. Wow!
What a catch by Brandon Jenkins, and excellent recognition there by Narot. Jenkins gets separation from that St. Rita defender and catches it on a huge third down and at a distance there, and a gain of 19 for Jenkins and your Huskies.
You know, that's one thing I kind of miss. I don't know if you remember our sophomore season. I think Jenkins had like 2 one-handed interceptions, and I was wondering if that was going to happen again.
One of them was against Maine South. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, that was great. It was
great
electric, and I was wondering where his hands were going to come in this season, and there we see it. Jenkins taking the ball. He's got nowhere to move. Jenkins finds a gap through the middle. Wow!
Oh my!
Great job waiting for Jenkins for his lineman to make a gap.
Saquon Barkley-esque, just waiting for the gap, waiting for the hole to open up.
Great awareness, 99 awareness right there.
Oh, that is awareness right there. It's all awareness. At Hersey moving downfield, that's 2nd and 5.
Narot and company placed at about the 30-yard line, 31 to be exact. Narot calling another audible.
It's going to be a
timeout on the Rita Mustangs.
St. Rita calling timeout there. And we're going to cut to a player profile now. Let's see, Luke Casey, receiver.
All right, my name's Luke Casey. I play wide receiver in DB. I've been on varsity for 3 years, and I'm number 3. Our goal for the season is to win a state championship. My favorite cereal is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'd be a 99 overall, and my best stat would be a spectacular catch.
All right, so I have some final scores for you, adding on to what we had before. Batavia beat Glenbard North, so the winner of this one will take on Batavia. The final score of that one was 42-27.
You mean Batavia beat Downers?
No, they beat Glenbard North.
Okay, yeah.
Also, East St. Louis with a win over Simeon and Chicago. And a couple other games. If you're interested, you can always check it out on IHSA.com or .org. They have all the scores there for you. And again, after this one, feel free to flip over to Fremd or the Barrington game. 2 other MSL teams who are still going, and both teams could potentially go very deep. Fremd playing Bolingbrook tonight and Barrington playing Lockport.
2nd down for the Huskies. 6 yards to go. Nara calls the snap. He's going to turn it to Jenkins on the outside. Jenkins finds a gap through the middle, and he gets the 1st down.
Another scrum after the play. I believe on the tackle there was number 43, Jack Schapendonk. They're going to move the chains, I believe.
1st down for the Huskies. They've got 24 yards to go to the end zone. Not in the red zone yet. Narot and Jenkins, that strong backfield we see all the time. Narot, he's going to hand it off to Jenkins again. Jenkins finds a gap and breaks a tackle.
Jenkins hit hard at the end of that play, right into the back. Tackle there by Jackson Smith.
Yeah, Jenkins, you could tell he's feeling it. Shoulders puffing.
2:30 left in this 3rd quarter. Huskies at 2nd and about 5.
Narot, he's going to throw it to Jenkins again. Jenkins with a stiff arm.
Huge stiff arm there by Brandon Jenkins, just asserting his dominance, asserting his power over the St. Rita defense, and again, just one of the bright spots here tonight for these Huskies.
No call from the refs here. It looks like they were just talking the play over. Jenkins squatting down. He must be out of breath.
I mean, yeah, again, when you're just playing on both sides of the ball, so many reps, as we take down to 2 minutes in this 3rd quarter. You know, he's had a lot of pressure under him, too. 3rd and 1. Huge play here, and St. Rita's going to say the Huskies jumped.
I don't know if it was a false start as much as it was like you know how they have a bad set sometimes? I think that's what they might be trying to call here.
Ref's going to talk it over here. This would back up the Huskies, and this would be a killer if this is on the Huskies. It's going to say a timeout called by Hersey, so no flag on the play there.
Did the down not change though? I swear it was just 2nd down.
No, it's 3rd and 1.
Okay.
It's been 3rd and 1.
Okay. I must have looked at it wrong.
The crowd's booing. I don't know if they're booing.
I think it did change it down. I think something changed it down there. It was definitely 2nd and 1.
All I know is that Hersey called a timeout. That's all I'm for sure about. Which, that's a bit of an early timeout. St. Rita already took one earlier, but 2 timeouts left for both teams, and maybe that timeout was
that could
to
have been a
avoid a
panic
penalty,
timeout, to avoid
maybe they
whatever
didn't have the
happened there.
personnel on the field.
Maybe it was illegal formation. And Rita noticed it, and Nelson called the timeout immediately. We don't know what happened there. It's a little bit confusing.
There's still some boos from this crowd. I don't know what what people are upset about. I don't know if it's about the timeout. I don't know if it's about the play setup. I guess we'll find out in a couple minutes. But it's still 3rd and 1, so 3rd and short here, and see what the Huskies can do.
Narat. He's going to hand it to Georgia Caucus. Georgia Caucus.
They're gonna.
Does he get it?
I believe they're gonna mark no gain on that one. So this is going to set up 4th down and short. And then that play immediately read as, once again, that was number 12, Kyle Kaiser, coming around the edge, making that tackle. And this is a huge 4th down now as they put Jenkins back into this game.
Looks like we actually lost a yard on that play. 4th and 2 now.
A huge play here, 4th and short.
Narat. He's going to take it himself. Does he get in there?
I thought he got it, but it looks like they're going to mark him short. I don't know. I don't think that's a good spot.
They're calling it St. Rita's ball. Turnover on downs at the 15-yard line for Rita.
I agree with the decision there to go for it on 4th down. You're down 2 scores. There's a minute left in the 3rd quarter. If you would have taken a field goal there, you're still down 2 scores, and
there's a minute left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, you're still down 2 scores, and it doesn't change much with the time. But St. Rita side getting loud here as the Huskies do need to stop.
Armbruster. Armbruster's going to look to the outside. He finds Jones. Can Jones make a gap? Jones gets tackled.
Excellent tackle there by Luke Casey. If you noticed, all of the Husky secondary was playing up. They were all pressed up. I don't know if they were showing blitz there, but, if I believe it was that to Jones, right? Jones would have gotten around Casey. He would have had tons of grass in front of him to get into the end zone. And I'm surprised this Hersey defense isn't keeping more guys back, considering the threat that this St. Rita offense poses.
Armbruster. Armbruster's going to give it to Johnson. Johnson's going to find a gap and more. No, he doesn't. Wow, what a tackle there from the Huskies. I thought he was gone there, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, some pretty clutch tackles here, but
it does move the sticks.
It does
for
move the
Rita
chains
Mustangs.
here. So. It's the end of the 3rd quarter now. Your Huskies down 42 32-28 to the St. Rita Mustangs.
Coming in with another player profile for Jake Nara.
My name is Jake Nara, and I'm a quarterback. This is my first year on varsity, and I'm number 9. Goal is to win a state championship, of course, and have some fun with my team, keep doing our thing. If I was in Madden, I would rate myself like maybe a 90, be generous, but I would probably say like just decision making maybe, I'd say is my highest rating.
Jake Narwat, we've seen him play great so far this season, not having the roughest game of his career, but not as much momentum as we've seen in previous games. Jake Narwat only threw 1 pass last year, and it was an interception, so you could say he's doing a lot better than last year.
Yeah, and well, he had 1 pass last year, so I don't want to make that more than it is, but I think I don't know if it's much of that he's struggling. I think it's just more that the Huskies haven't used him. He had that excellent pass to Luke Casey early on, and he's found some targets and that awareness to some of those throws to Jenkins, that one that he took in for the touchdown. Yes, we've seen more incompletions than in recent weeks, but 1st and 10.
It's going to be a shovel over to Smith. Smith is going to find a gap, and he gets taken down by Oliver Cohen.
That dump-off shovel play to Smith is so effective because Smith is just such a powerful runner. You know, it's like stepping in front of a train. You do not want to step in front of that. You got to go for the legs there. And so he's going to pick up a 1st down. I think if you're the Huskies, I said it earlier, you need a turnover here.
Well, we got the turnover and we couldn't make anything happen, so.
Yes. Well, that was a punt, but like a solid turnover with good field position.
That's going to be Sutton. Sutton not gaining anything.
Yeah, Sutton, way to stay on his feet. Tackled there by Johnny LaMonica, the sophomore. It's a short gain there. It's going to make it 2nd and 9.
Second and 9 for Armbruster. Armbruster, he's going to hand it off to Johnson. Johnson's going to look for a gap towards the middle. He gets one, taken down for a 1st down.
Shaden Georgiakakis with the tackle. That's a similar play that we saw when Jenkins got ripped down and they had the unsportsmanlike conduct call earlier. Georgiakakis absolutely tears down the rusher right there. But St. Rita going to pick up the 1st down, and they have the ball at about midfield. Looking over the sideline and also trying to delay some clock here with 10 minutes left in this 3rd quarter.
Armbruster. Armbruster is going to hand it off to Johnson. Johnson finds a gap through the middle for a gain of about 6.
Such a powerful rusher. Brandon Johnson is just excellent run right there up the middle, and another big pickup there on 1st down. So now it gets important. You know, St. Rita over midfield. You gotta hold him. You gotta force a turnover. And if St. Rita scores here, obviously it's not impossible. We've seen Hersey do it with under 6 minutes left, but especially with the way that the St. Rita offense has been playing, it'll be pretty difficult for these Huskies to come back here.
Armbruster. Armbruster's going to look behind him. He's going to give it to Johnson again. Johnson's going towards the outside. Johnson gets swarmed. Wow, what a tackle from Oliver Cohen.
Oliver Cohen, we've mentioned his name multiple times today. Just getting to the outside, making those tackles. He is limping a little bit here. Just grabbing his leg. And also Shaden Georgiakakis coming in, assisting with that tackle. And excellent performance tonight by Oliver Cohen.
Armbruster. He's going to motion Jones. Armbruster is going to hand it to Sutton. Sutton's got room to go in the outside. Sutton breaks a tackle and runs out of bounds.
There's a flag thrown. There's a little bit of contact there between Cohen, I believe that's number
14.
Number 14, Brady Wantrout, the junior tight end. That's not right. I believe that's number 24. Number 24, Seamus O'Leary.
It was definitely 14.
On the outside near the St. Rita sideline. Well, it's weird that the tight end's playing defense. Or sorry, the tight end. That made no sense. Yes, that was number 14. I apologize. I thought Hersey was on offense.
It's going to be unsportsmanlike
going
conduct.
to be, on number 14 there, and the play is going back up. So a huge break for the Huskies as this sets up first down at the 45-yard line. St. Rita's going to restart this series.
First down and 17 for Armbruster.
This is big here now. You got that penalty, you got them backed up. You need to force a punt here. And I kind of want to see Armbruster throw the ball because I don't think he's that accurate.
Armbruster. He gets a little shovel pass out to Smith. Smith has got room to go. He finds a gap. Oliver Cohen not able to get the tackle. Ryan Hefke dives. No tackle. Smith into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, and just a couple missed tackles right there, and Oliver Cohen had him in his hands, but lets him go through and getting into the end zone for the touchdown. So, and now with 8:14 left, Hersey's really got to get downfield quick, get a couple scores. That's just the St. Rita team's just still going.
Ruiz. Ruiz is good through the uprights.
Q-Tip, I don't really know what you do at this point. I feel
they did it against Prospect, so
we're
they
kind of at a loss.
Chance.
But what they did against Prospect is just the defense stepped up big time. And the offense is getting down the field real quick and putting in some scores, but I don't know. It was like the odds of them winning that Prospect game was like 1%, and they managed to pull it off. I'd say
it's almost got to be less now.
It's got to be less, especially with how that St. Rita offense has been looking so far. But there is more time on the clock than there was in that Prospect game. We were staring this down with about 6 minutes left, and 8 minutes left here. Maybe Walton can get something going off the return.
Well, I think there's only 2 scores down with 6 minutes left.
Yeah, I think it was 2 scores, yeah.
Because we did manage to score in the third quarter, which did not happen in this game against the Rita Mustangs. Ruiz with another really high kick. This one's going to go to Walton. Walton's going to drop the pass. Picks it up. Does he have room to go? He finds a gap. Walton's still on his feet. Walton almost to the 30-yard line.
Just the pressure really seems to be hitting these Huskies right now. You're down by 3 scores. That one just goes right through Walton's hands. It's just a lot of panic. That's what I would say. Maybe not pressure, just panic that you need to get something done. We need to get something going. But Walton able to pick it up. And sometimes those drop balls or those might mess up the return or the kicking team's coverage. And you can actually get something going your way.
Narot with 8 minutes left in the game. Narot is faking the handoff to Jenkins. Narot looking deep. He throws it up. Oh no! Intercepted by St. Rita. That's number 2, James Franklin III. Franklin moving it back. It's pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, ball is headed for Casey, thrown into triple coverage. And Yeah, it's just the panic plays, I feel like, is what we've seen right there. You still have 8 minutes left. You could get down the field, and Jenkins has looked so good rushing, but I think just you want to get something going. You want to get your offense, your team going. And I said, getting down the field quickly. And now St. Rita in excellent scoring position.
It's Narot's second interception of the season. He's put up great stats this year, only having 2 interceptions the whole season, both of which have been in the postseason. He had a totally clean season, and then in the postseason is where we start playing these tougher defenses.
Well, and the odds that ball was going to be brought down by Casey, 3 guys were on him, and those are 3 of the best safeties in the league.
It's going to be Sutton. Sutton makes a move to the outside.
Second and 6, 7:30 remaining.
Armbruster.
Huskies showing blitz.
Armbruster's going to give it to Sutton. Sutton's going to look to the outside yet again. Sutton's got room down the outside line, and he does in for a touchdown.
Sutton's speed just unbeatable to the outside, and those jet sweep reverse plays that they're running just unstoppable right now. And St. Rita moves it to a 4-score game, and 55 points is just, we haven't seen a team put up that many points on Hersey in a long time. I feel like you're going to walk away from the score. They might put up 60. There's still 7 minutes left in this game, and I just don't think that that's an accurate representation of this game. I think maybe an accurate representation of the defensive performance tonight for the Huskies, but I think that Hersey was in this for almost 3 quarters of this game, and just down the stretch unable to get anything going. But
yeah, it's just kind of collapsed here in this 4th quarter.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of what we've seen from that Prospect game. Yeah, kind of at a loss for words here in the booth, but maybe I don't know, plenty of time, 7 minutes. Anything could happen. A kick return, a couple. Yeah, I don't want to count it out just yet, though. I believe that 1% has gone down to about 0.01%.
Yeah, it's not the greatest outlook for the Huskies if we had to predict it.
I want to shout out our crew here today for our broadcast. Zara on camera, Alexia on camera, Emily Durkin, our producer. Obviously me and Q-Tip today.
Ruiz with another great kick. That one's going to be a touchback.
When almost stayed in play. And this Hersey fan section starts to file out here. 6:59 remaining in this 4th quarter, and it's a lot of hanging heads on this Hersey sideline. Not really, kind of speechless, not really knowing what to do. But this St. Rita team is a powerhouse program. They've played in these games before, and I think just the Hersey momentum kind of, you see it die, right? 9 straight wins, and
all right, handing it off to Jenkins. Jenkins is going to look for a gap, but he gets taken down behind him.
Excellent read there by number 44, Jacob Fleming, the defensive lineman. And I think what we've also seen progress through this game is the ability for the St. Rita defensive line and defense to read how Jenkins runs the ball, and I think at halftime you just totally saw how the run game just immediately stopped for the Huskies.
Nara. He's going to look to the outside. He finds Wilder. Wilder getting taken out of bounds.
There should be a flag on that one. That looked like it was a face mask, but
I think he tackled at the shoulder and then tried to pull him down with his elbow, and the elbow kind of went into the face mask. I don't think there was any fingers there. I don't think that's an illegal play.
Gain of 4 on the play, 36.
Wow, this Husky student section is sad. I believe like 80% of the people have left.
yeah, I think reflected on the season for Hersey, like I said it in the pregame show, nobody expected them to make it this far. So to be a contender in November is impressive.
Jenkins throws, or excuse me, Narot throws it over Jenkins.
Well, the question now is, do you go for it on 4th down? You are deep in your territory. I think at this point it's playoff football. There's nothing to lose.
This is where I'd bring Josh Riggs in and then go for a Tom Nelson special.
Obviously we don't know much about this.
I want to know what happened with Josh Riggs.
What's going on the sideline, but I think what's going on with Josh Riggs is a question today.
Because not only do you lose your first receiver, you have your second string receiver. It's not even Riggs is a first receiver. He's got 10 more yards than Wentink on the season, and
obviously
Riggs
if it's
isn't playing, but he's suited up.
If it's an injury thing, that makes sense, like concussion. But I wouldn't expect him to be suited up. If it's like a discipline thing, I think you just got to recognize like it's the state playoffs. This was not a guaranteed game. I also think it could just be a scouting thing. Maybe sizing up how they thought Riggs was going to be in his matchup. I don't know, but it's interesting nevertheless.
Throws it over the top to Casey. Casey getting the toe tap and pushed out of bounds.
They're going to give the Huskies the first down there, so they convert on their first 4th down of the game. But no flags thrown after the hard hit on Casey.
Nara looking deep. He's got time. A little bit of pressure. He goes over the top to Jenkins. Jenkins gets swarmed at the line of scrimmage.
Excellent tackle right there by number 43, Jack Schreppendonk. You saw Jenkins trying to shift his body weight, move to the outside on there, try to deke around Schreppendonk, but just staying with him, taking him down. Again, the St. Rita defense has really evolved and matched this Husky team in this second half, and that's why they got these 55 points here, because I can't say the same thing about the Huskies defense.
Jenkins. Hand it off to Jenkins. Jenkins looking to the outside, gets taken down immediately.
It's going to set up 3rd and long with 5 minutes remaining in this game, and
3rd and 13 for Jake Narot.
You wonder if you're going to start seeing some seniors come in for this Husky team.
Some Cooper Mullen. Not yet. Luke Casey motioning. Narot. Narot calls the play. Narot looking deep. He's got Casey. Casey. Oh no! Just short of the first down. It looks like it's going to be 4th and 2.
Excellent pass there by Jake Dar. That was right into Casey's chest, and just excellent read there by the coverage unit for the St. Rita team. But a gain of about 11 on that one. It's going to set up 4th and 2.
Fourth and 2 for the Huskies. Will it be a run, or will they be looking for a little shovel pass? They could go deep. There's so many options you have here, especially when you're just trying to, keep the game together. Narot calls the play. It's a high five. He gives it over to Jenkins. Jenkins over the top. I said high five. I meant a clap.
Jenkins picks up the first down. The Huskies convert once again on 4th down. And slowly these Huskies are moving down the field with 4 minutes left in this one. You know, is it too early to start previewing next year's team?
No, I don't think so.
You know, I think though Jenkins and the senior leadership on this team has been very strong, you've also seen a lot of promise from these juniors and sophomores on this Hersey team.
It's going to be caught by Schultz, a junior, as you just said. Also, Jake Narrod, a junior. Zell Walton, a junior. We see Jackson Travis in the backfield, injured right now. Great running back. He's going to be next year. Zell Walton, we saw him on the kick returns also.
Excellent pass right there by Jake Narrod, just right into the breadbasket right there of Schultz. And Schultz picks up the first down. I think that's the best pass that we've seen Narrod throw today.
Absolutely. Narrod with another clap. He's
pressure.
going to be looking deep with pressure. He finds Wilder. Wilder, one man to beat. Can he stay on his feet? No. Pushed out of bounds at about the 10-yard line.
What a catch there by Wilder. An excellent find there by Jake Narrod. And with 3 minutes left, a little life thrown into this Husky offense. And wouldn't that be something? 35-yard gain, and I mean, time is pretty tight here, but you never say never, right, Q-Tub? Never say never.
I don't know if there's enough time. I think this is all going to come down to the clock. Narrod and company at the 10-yard line. Narrod with the clap. He's going to throw it to Jenkins on the outside. Jenkins, one man to beat. Can he do it? Yes, he does. Jenkins in for a touchdown.
Brandon Jenkins, I believe that's his third touchdown of the game. Excellent performance tonight from the kid. A couple receiving touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and just all-around performance today. If we have 3 stars of the game tonight, I think Jenkins gets that #1 star.
I think you got to give it to Jenkins. You got to give it to Oliver Cohen.
Yeah, Oliver
We've
Cohen's
seen him on
pretty
almost
strong.
every single tackle. I don't know who you'd put in there at the third. Maybe Jackson
Well,
Wilder.
I would say if you're doing 3 stars for the whole game, I think the 2 and 3 spot would go to probably some St. Rita players.
Oh, I thought you meant
Walter-
just for the Huskies.
Walter Jones, a couple defensive players in that secondary with some excellent coverage.
Mao off the post, but it's good.
A little doink for right in there. I love hearing those, but Huskies cut the lead 21 down 35-56 to the St. Rita team. And for St. Rita now, assuming they come out of this one on top, Batavia next week, and then we're unsure what's going on the other side of the bracket yet. But what do we think? Do you think this team could dethrone Batavia, who's looked so strong?
I don't, dude. I don't. I think the Huskies really had a strong chance here, and we've kind of just almost discouraged ourselves. And I think that St. Rita has no chance against Batavia. I think we
Really?
have a chance against Batavia, and I think we really could have won this game. The Huskies were looking strong, you know?
Yeah, you know, 7A football is very different now, right? You got rid of Mount Carmel, who was moved up to 8A. You know, some other the very powerhouse teams like Nazareth Academy moved down to 6A, and it's kind of a wide open field now. You know, you have St. Rita, you have Batavia, and the lower half of the bracket. You got teams like Brother Rice still around. St. Charles North. I think St. Charles North is a sneaky team to win the state championship, but it is pretty wide open. And Downers Grove North just went on to the state semifinal today.
A great kick from Mao. It's not going to be a touchback. They're going to have to take it at about the 3-yard line.
That's interesting. You know, the St. Rita team lines up for an onside kick with 3 minutes left. You would have think down 21, why not throw off an onside kick? But they're deciding to kick it deep and pin them deep in their own territory. Maybe that was a good point. Maybe we could get a safety here and get the ball right back, put up a quick 9. All right, 1st and 10. About 3 minutes left in this one.
It's going to be a handoff to Johnson. Johnson's going to find a gap and get taken down for about a gain of 5.
Well, there goes all hopes of a safety. A good pickup there by Johnson and tackle there by George Kakis. A gain of 6 off that run. Second down now.
Armbruster. Armbruster. Motioning Jones. He's going to hand it off to Johnson. Johnson's with speed, goes through the middle. Gets the first down.
I think someone's shoe fell off. I thought that was the ball at first. That got me excited, but excellent pickup there by Johnson. A strong rush up the middle.
You got to imagine they're just going to keep running the ball here.
Yeah, well, you get to a point where you can start taking knees now, too, with under 2 minutes left in this one. Huskies do still have 2 timeouts if they elect to use them, but and they're just going to waste clock here. And I think the Huskies are waving the white flag. They're surrendering this one.
Armbruster. He's going to call the play. He's going to hand it off to Johnson again. Johnson finds the gap towards the outside, and he drops the ball. Huskies
get on top of the ball, and so I kind of jinxed it early on. I said I thought he fumbled the ball. Well, he does fumble the ball. Huskies taking the ball back at the 45-yard line, and excellent awareness there by the Huskies to drop on the ball. I think, not sure who recovered it or who forced it there. There's a lot of bodies in on that one, but with 1:21, the Huskies are going to take over down 56-35.
down by 3 scores. Huskies got 1:21 left. That'd be 40 seconds a touchdown, including plays from St. Rita.
Yeah, down 21. You got to designate like 30 seconds per possession and a couple onside kicks.
Nara. He's going to find Walton. Walton makes a move, stays on his feet. Walton keeps going with a spin move. Walton down
There is a
for a gain of 15.
St. Rita's star, number 1, Owen Lynch, struggling to get up after he collided real heavy with another defender on that St. Rita team. That was number 12. Kyle Kaiser.
It's going to be a late flag on the play. It looks like Aaron Damon got his helmet taken off. It's going to be on the Huskies. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
You know, late in this game, you're down by 3 scores. You can't be taking unsportsmanlike conduct calls and backing up. What was an excellent gain, excellent momentum play there by Zell Walton all the way up to where they originally started. Not sure where they're going to spot the ball here.
Wow, a 10-yard penalty there. No, he keeps walking. Make it 15. First and 25. A minute left on the clock for Jake Norrod.
Time taken away here, under a minute. That's going to pull the play dead.
It's going to be a timeout for the Mustangs, I believe. Never mind. They're moving the sticks to make it 1st and 10 instead of 1st and 25.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but
Narod. Narod taking it himself. He finds a gap. He's got room to his left side. Narod, keep going. Narod to the 10. Narod's going to run out of bounds at about the 9-yard line.
excellent pickup there by Jake Narad. No flags on that one. And a 30-yard rush right there brings the Huskies within the 10-yard line into the red zone.
Not known to be a scrambler, but he can move those feet, boy, do I tell you.
We've actually seen him scramble the ball a couple times today. Haven't really seen that before from him going into this game, but his pocket's collapsing real quick.
Narot, first and goal. 10 yards to go. He gets pressured immediately, but he finds Wilder. Wilder into the end zone.
Narot looks for his senior. Jackson Wilder gets the touchdown, cutting the score on a 14. An excellent work there by Wilder getting open, and Narot looking for his target, and it all came from that Narot scramble early on. And with 30 seconds left, Jack Mile walks out there to cut the deficit down to 14.
I guess it's possible with 2 onside kicks if you throw it once on both of them.
So you got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds left. It would be a miracle.
Jack Mao straight through the uprights, even though he had tons of pressure on him.
Mao's kicking great with all this pressure today. He's had his kick almost blocked a couple times.
They're going to bring Jack Foster in here, I believe, for the onside kick. Coach Kuhn looks fired up. I think he thinks they have a chance.
Yeah, it looks like they might go for the onside kick from what I'm looking at here. Coach Nelson goes over there, and I think Hersey crowd getting on their feet here, and with 30 seconds left, down 2 scores. Huskies going to try to spur some momentum, get this ball back. 42 points today scored by the Huskies is, for being down 14 points. And I mean, that match team up they scored last week, and I think that, which tied, or didn't tie, but, is incredibly impressive against the St. Rita team. I think that's what I was
And for not having your 2 best receivers out there, not having a starting defensive back in Peyton Schultz out there, having a bunch of players injured. The Huskies have put up a great fight for this game, and it seems like they're still trying to win here. I believe they're lining up for an onside kick.
See, they run a strange type of onside kick formation if they decide to go for it.
I don't know. It looks like Foster's taking a full run up.
They are loading that right side.
Jack Foster. Jack Foster for the onside kick! Oh my gosh, I thought we recovered it there for a second. Ben Martin almost able to get that ball.
He was right there. He did not engage contact. That was number 14.
What a great kick from Jack Foster.
That was a great onside kick attempt. Sometimes if you just kick it right at them, you can get hopefully it bounces right off their chest and right there for Martin to take over. But with
you got to imagine they're just going to kneel here or something, stall out the game.
9 seconds, and the Huskies lining up. Huskies lining up for the handshake. Armbruster takes the knee, which is going to finish off this one. The Huskies losing 42-56 to the St. Rita team.
Yeah, that's going to end off the game, as you said, 42-56. Also a thing to know, kind of on the sad note, me, Ryan, and Emily Durkin, this is our last football game under Hersey attire. Last time announcing football for Hersey Dispatch, so you'll see us in the basketball games if you tune in, but if you only watch for football, have a good night.
Yeah, we've, thank you so much for joining us. I know QT's been doing this for 3 years. And so thank you for joining us this whole season. Incredibly successful season tonight by the Huskies. Making it to the state quarterfinals, first time since 1987, I believe.
And also, only the second time ever in Hersey's history has the football team made it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and I think also, tonight, though it did not go their way, 42 points against a powerhouse program like St. Rita. That's more points than Mount Carmel scored on St. Rita. That's more points than Brother Rice scored on St. Rita, and unfortunately, just defensively could not get the job done tonight. But nevertheless, again, it's been a pleasure working these past 3 years, and We're looking forward to basketball season where you join us. We'll be hopping on some calls after Christmas break. So.
Oh yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in and have a great night.